Welcome to the day in the shop. We're getting ready to make it work right here. I'm Jimmy if you're new. We don't have a lot of work really. It's been kind of slow, but we're still maintaining the hectic, which is good, makes it more exciting. I don't want you guys to be bored watching my content. We're gonna put a warranty evaporator on the Honda Odyssey today. One of them said that it wasn't available anywhere in the state, and one of them said it'll be here in the morning. So I don't know what's real yet, but we're gonna see. We're gonna figure out what's going on. It's gonna be hot and muggy again today. It's Central Florida. That's what you'd expect, I guess. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you clicking that button to watch my video. We're gonna spend a day in the shop fixing a bunch of cars, doing warranty evaporators, all kinds of cool stuff. It's gonna be challenging, but we're gonna learn things, we're gonna have fun, and that's what matters, and that's what makes it worth staying tuned. So I'm gonna finish getting the shop open up. We're gonna get started. Let's do it. Let the festivities begin. This is a 2019, I believe. 2019. Oh, that might be 2029 of 19. Dodge Caravan. Looked at it last week. Needs a transmission. If you don't remember, it had some transmission slipping codes. As soon as it got hot, it doesn't go. So we got a rebuilt from LKQ coming. Let's get to work. I got the wheels off so I can lower it down a little extra. I do everything from the top, you know, when I get started. We'll do everything from the top first, lift it up, do everything we need from the bottom, and then button up the top last. That's my process. Get some of the heavy dirt out of the way. I feel engine heat coming off that car. Kind of strange. I went over to it, it's running. It's doing the DVI while the engine is running. It's kind of strange. Everyone's got their own way to do it, I guess. Battery's coming out. Battery in the battery tray so we can get that back mount unbolted. That bolt's a little tricky. You gotta ask the wiring harness nicely to move out of the way. Push pins here and there. We got the wiring harness, makes it feel like there's more bolts, but it just kind of traps the battery tray. Comes right out. This little lock clip keeps it from accidentally closing on itself. We're going to close it on purpose. Get the shifter cable out. Another cog in the wheel. Bracket for this air pump. It comes off the bell housing. Cooler lines, a couple of electrical connectors, get the harness, and I'll do the mount last, let it hold everything in place for me. Now this vacuum pump's held in with a stud to 15, but they got a 13 on the outside to hold the little ground cable on one side and the harness on the other. A little tricky, but Bill and Bob can't outsmart us. We know what we're doing around here. Kinda. For the most part, usually. Oh, speaking of which, a couple people recommended some Watch Wes work videos over the week, and I'm subscribed to his channel, so I watched them last night to catch up. He's doing an engine on an Ecotech for his brother, I think he said. Pretty funny. He's got like 10 things wrong with it, but the reason it wouldn't start was the reluctor turned on the one cam. So the first clue, in my opinion, I mean, he found problems with the rod bushings, connecting rod bushings, and all kinds of other things, but that wasn't causing the no start. The no start was a cam timing error without the mechanical timing being off. So that's your first clue. Something's not right with a reluctor. And the cam timing's physically correct when you take the valve cover off, then you know a reluctor turned on the crank or a cam. So, but it's a pretty cool video. I feel bad for him because he's finding all these other problems going above and beyond for his brother, which makes it look way more complicated than it really is. And on those Ecotechs, the digger you deep, the getter it worses, or something like that. So it's pretty bad. The best thing on the Ecotech is just fix whatever the main problem is, like the no start, and carry on. Because that car might have run another 50,000 miles with the problems he found. But he'll never know because it's going to freshen it all up. And I don't blame him for someone that you're not charging. But if he was charging them, it'd be like $7,000 labor for all the work he's doing. Just interesting video though. He's a very good mechanic, very thorough, and seems like a good guy from what I can tell. I subscribed to his channel like 4 years ago, I think. Been a while. But I don't watch a lot of the videos from a lot of creators because I just don't have time. Anyway, I'm babbling. Let me get these cooler lines out. I made a short about not using the special tool, and apparently a lot of people don't think there is a special tool. Even a trim tool can work. No special tools needed. I'm gonna pull these up out of my way. It's gonna make a mess, but we gotta flush those lines out too. Usually what I'll do is I'll take the transaxle out of the way, then it's easier for me to mess with these lines and have them hanging down and run my flush through the transmission cooler. The ideal thing is to replace it, but a lot of vehicles, it's part of the radiator or the AC condenser or something really crazy. So often we just work with what we got. Take out all the bell housing bolts that I can from the top, so when I get underneath, it's going to come out when I take those ones out. I think there's 4 or 5 on the bottom and 3 or 4 on the top. Kind of unusual that there's more on the bottom, but there's not a lot of room up here, so that's fine. It's hard to see them. There's one under this harness, one or two back there that we're holding this on. And one of the trickier parts of this job is that mount in the back. That's a fun one. It's not bad, but it's a little awkward. So what I generally try to do is pop this out of the bracket and I'll take that heat shield bolt out and get these 3 bolts from the top if my right angle will break them loose. If not, I'll use a ratchet wrench to break them loose and then spin them out the rest of the way with the right angle impact. These are pretty tight. I think I might be able to use my 3/8 ratchet if I get them loose enough with this. Using a gear wrench 1/2" ratchet and a snap-on socket, they seem to be getting along fine, regardless of what the internet thinks. Seems okay. What I'm doing is, any bolt I'm not sure, sometimes I'll put those in by hand underneath and just get them started up from underneath as I go back together. So just in case I want them below, I'll have them in a neutral place. If I put them up here, can't reach them. So that's why I'm doing that. These ones I know I got to get from the top. I think it's easier too on these if you take this mount completely out, but they don't make it easy because of that. So we'll see what we got to do. I'm trying to remember, but I think that this bracket coming off the transmission helps you get it past the subframe. All right, I got that one. It's a 16 too. These bolts are 16 for some reason. Everything else is 15 and 18, but I don't think I have to take this out. I think this bracket is the problem. And once you lower the transaxle enough, you can get to the other 15s or 16s from that side of the transmission under the subframe. So I think we're done up top. We are about ready to go airborne. You do have to take the axles out, so I am just going around here in case I gotta take some of the stuff apart. This thing looks like someone's changed the lower arms or ball joints or something on this thing already. So maybe that'll help. Maybe I'll take the lower ball joints out. Sometimes you undo the strut, sometimes the ball joint. It all depends on the angles and stuff. Although I do not want deep creep on the brake rotor surface, really. We'll have to brake clean that when we go back together. We got to get an axle socket. We know the axle's coming out. We just don't know which method yet. Gravity check. There's anti-seize on that. Someone's been working on this car quite a bit. It's a Chrysler, so 4 years is about all you can hope for. If you're new here, I bust chops a little bit. I'm going to say this is not the first transmission this thing has had replaced. I'm going to pull jack, but I think I'm going to find my converter bolts first. I like to use a pole jack to support things while I undo the mounts in the cross member. And once the cross member's out of the way, then the tranny jack will do. But converter bolts are under that cover, I believe. I've taken some of the bottom bolts out. Got one here. So this thing's rusty, but like I said, someone's had sockets on these bolts, and it's got new lower arms, new stabilizer links, and all that stuff. 4-year-old car. Gotta get this little splash dealio. Forget the technical term for it. It's just a splash guard, I guess, but gotta get it out of the way so I can turn the crank, find all my converter bolts. It's 7.4 hours labor, by the way. And we're hoping that it's not, no bolts are gonna break. The only bolt that's really broken on me on these is this. You can't force it. Luckily, since someone probably took it out, you can see the socket marks. Since someone's probably already had it in and out, hopefully it won't. But we'll see. It's the only magnet on my light that still works. So I showed you guys earlier, the bottom magnet fell out when I dropped it, one of the 4,800 times I dropped it. But if you don't test gravity, it might stop working when you're not paying attention. Same thing with the pole jack. The floor is not straight, neither is the pole jack. You do what you got to do to make it work. Look at the size of that thing, 27 millimeters. It's huge. You always want to turn an engine clockwise, by the way. Now I got to just look for converter bolts while we give it a twist. Quick and easy, just like I remember. I think there's 4 of those in there on these, because you got to harness that 3.6 liters somehow. More of those. All right, all my converter bolts are out. That's the alignment hole that we talk about occasionally. It's not round, it's like an oval shape. It's got flats on the side, so if you put that bolt in first, you don't have to go around twice, although I probably still will. Force a habit, and I could be sure I didn't miss one. Fast and furious, bruh. Putting a little load on this. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to jack this up so it's not weighted on the mounts and the cross member. That sounds nice. It went up about, I only raised it up about this much. Just enough to know that if I take this cross member out, it's not going to go whoop. It won't go anywhere, but it's the whoop part I don't want. I had to set up my little fan out here because there's just no air movement today, especially. But the fan up there, it's blocked by the car right now. So this little fan, I got GE Commercial Electric. They make it look like General Electric. Commercial Electric at Home Depot. I think it was on sale for like 89 bucks or something. And I've had it now a year and a half. It's been awesome. Anywho, taking these rusty bolts out. My socket doesn't hardly want to go on. These aren't all the same length either, so 3 are longer than the 1. I thought I remembered 2 and 2, but one's just a little shorter like me. Through bolt for the motor mount. I think that's gonna be the last one. Now what I can do is leave this one in here. This bolt's real long. Goes through the mount and the cross member. And now that mount should help me hold it up. Should just come loose and not break. It's not looking good. Let's just get that out of the way right up front. The only chance we got is if we keep working it in and out. If I can work this bolt in and out and get the threads to clean up enough to get it out, then I won't have to drill it out like I did on the last one. And since we charged exactly what the book time is, which is based on a 1-year-old car that's not rusty, but I can't, you know, It's one of those things where you feel like you're beating a dead horse, so you just keep your mouth shut and complain on your video. That's what we're fighting. Got it. I am gonna, oh, I got deep creep sprayed all over my face. I'm gonna give this a little deep creep, and I'm gonna take it over the wire wheel after it soaks a little while, clean it up for reassembly later. I mean, we soaked that thing pretty good, but you see that was dry. Rust. Take that out. You can take that out. I did also find out this morning that we no longer get paid when a car's done. We get paid when the car gets picked up and paid for. And there's been a few cars that were out in the grass that we had checked last year that got towed to salvage, and we never got paid for those. So, well, at least that's what we think from memory. Who knows for sure. It's so hard to keep track of that stuff. It takes a lot of time to do your own paperwork and track your own payroll and make sure everything's good, because things can get overlooked. And I used to check it all the time, but it's been so hectic I stopped. And it's probably more important to check it now than ever, but it would slow me down and cost me a half hour a week just in a little bit of paperwork each day. A lot to think about, but that's it. Keep thinking and keep working. That's what I'm saying. Gotta take this bracket off because it ties the engine and transmission together. Once that's out, we're really close. What's funny is the boots are already split. I'll give you a better light. Oh, there it is. The boots are already split on the new ball joint. They had it nice and tight. I pushed the button. I pushed your button on your top of your head, and then I got my pry bar and I popped it loose. I forced the wrench loose on the axle here, and then I looked over and the camera wasn't on. I'll do it on the other side too. I'm gonna pull this pan down, and we'll get the sea in there a little bit. We got to drain the fluid anyway. I could put an evacuator in the fill tube, but 7.4 hours of labor. We don't need any shortcuts. We're making lots of time. Gotta go the right way though. I must have flipped it when I took the nut out of the socket. Now for the pizza resistance. Didn't get a drop on me. I win. Anyone who's worked on transmissions knows why that's a huge deal. You see that silver in the fluid? That is not good. There's no big chunks of metal though, but that's why it works okay when it's cold. The filter's in place and all, like I was suspecting, because a suspicion of a filter off is it doesn't work cold or hot. It won't really matter. But pumps and things like that tend to stop working when they get hot. And all that silver in the oil, that's bad. The lack of chunks just means it hasn't completely blown up yet, but when it loses pump prime, it can't go anywhere. It can't do any major damage. I want to say too, on the back on the paid when the car is picked up and paid for deal, this is the only profession on earth where that kind of thing happens. Maybe doctors wait for insurance payments and stuff, but I'm just equating it to like if you stock the shelves at the grocery store and you got paid when people bought them, that kind of thing. Maybe that's off. You guys tell me in the comments what you think, what profession you're in, or if you wait to get paid like a lawyer. I guess sometimes you wait to get paid. If you win the case, you get paid. If you don't get paid. But then you only take cases where you know you're gonna win, where you got a really good suspicion you will. I don't know. I guess everything's messy. Nothing's black and white. It's always gray. the right side axle. I used to try to leave the axle in and fight with the transmission, lining up with the subframe and the axle spline. It's just not worth it. You just take the axle out, then you can get to those rear motor mount bolts a little easier, the heat shield and all that kind of stuff. And the transmission's really tight coming past that subframe anyway. I find that it's not worth the aggravation trying to save a few minutes taking the axle out. There's 3 bolts on this axle support bearing bracket. This one's the hardest one to get to. So when you got cool extensions like I do, piece of cake. Now if I can get this ball joint out, we can get that axle out. What's weird too is the other side, I took the nut off and I went to get my pickle fork and I pulled on the arm while I was trying to put the pickle fork in, and it came out of the nut. But it felt like it was tight. So we'll have to pay attention to that when we're going back together. Same thing on this side. Saves you a lot of hammering and banging. That's cool. The ball joint nut doesn't fit out until you pull the ball joint down a little bit too. Stop it. Gotta get just the right point. This one I'll put over by my ball joint nut and the axle nut. Because that shim is supposed to be in there. I don't know why it's there. I think they would have machined the axle 20 thousandths thicker, but whatever. I'm not going to argue with the guys over at Chrysler, Fiat, Mercedes, whatever. The center support's a little rusted to the dowel pins in the bottom. We'll get a pry bar, show it his boss. Come right out. We're balancing cantankerously on the edge. Not only for amazing, thrilling content that we often provide in this channel, but it fought me a little bit on that power steering pump, so I'm kind of mad at it. I'm going to leave it at timeout. This rear mount, there's a 15 up there that goes to the training through the motor, and an 18 on that mount. I took those 3 bolts off the top. That last one is holding that back mount on the transmission. Sometimes I'll take that bracket completely out just to have more room. This one looks slightly different, like I might be able to leave it in there. And just I'll loosen the pinch bolt that goes through here under the shield. If I can loosen that and just turn it up, lift it off out of my way, I'll probably try to do that. To get this other 10 out of the back here, I reached over here and got it. Now I'll try to get that 15. I think it's a 15. Try to get that loose. That mount's a little sloppy, isn't it? There's my replacement. They're gonna want the core. Joe just came out. They're gonna want that core. I said, well, we're gonna have to wait 20 or 30 minutes. It's frozen on the dowel pins from the corrosion. I got all the bolts out. I can't get it to let go. So I'm going to do is put this bolt back in a few threads and use it to try to rock the transmission. And it is, all the bolts are out. It's acting like I haven't loosened any of them. Put your ears on. Something happened. This motor's centered a little better. The motor's rolling too much. It's making the transmission hit the subframe. We don't want that. Subframe abuse. Not good.
On to the next episode.
The other dowel pins. Fast and Furious Ford Focus. The other dowel pin's still frozen. Still in there a little bit. Oh, there's a place. Like I said, they don't give you much room. Oh. This is another problem on these. When they get rusty, the dowel pin's hanging on that shield. Don't worry, we'll hammer it all straight. It only looks messy right now. It's part of your 7 hours labor. Suck it up, Buttercup. Bill's been working on that Jeep. The whole ticket's like 12 hours. We've been working on it all week. That, huh? Heck yeah! Making room. I got room now.
I was just saying.
Day 4 goes in the garbage. That's all there is to it. Alright, I'm not sure if the new tranny is going to come with sensors and stuff, so we might have to swap them over. I'll get that case open, take a look. I got that hammered fairly straight. I got to get the dowel out of the tranny. And I'll put you guys on charge a little while. We come back, it'll look like a much nicer transmission on the stand. Sucks is let's see if I can get that overflow tank out real quick. That's why they pay me the big bucks. Them, they didn't build all these developments and apartment complex. Oh boy, talk a little smack, goes right in. Never use the bolts to pull it into place. Now I got this bracket tightened up. To get it past that, I got to use my pole jack and roll the engine back so that those two stands will clear that mount and I can put it up the rest of the way. Should be easy. I got my little stubby 18 on here. If I can snug the I got the first two bolts from the top going down. That's why I kept them on my cart. I don't want to tighten this one until I'm sure that bracket is flat on the transmission, right? So if I can just get these to snug, then I can go ahead and tighten the other one and put the heat shield in place, and everything else will be downhill. or uphill, depending on your perspective. Converter bolts are going in next. I hope, it's off to work we go. I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope.
I'm kind of upset that Donnie didn't text back at all. Like, okay, or anything. Just nothing. Really?
Donnie didn't text back about what? Alright, you come out.
Hey, senor.
Alright, you can come out now.
Senor, good him?
Like you just got off being grounded.
You get the chance when you're done, sir?
Starter's in. Motor mount brace is in. Holy crap, man. That's crazy. Bill and the new guy had words. New guy's been working here 2 days. Bill has been working here like 5 years. So they had words and they fired Bill. Here, man, stop looking at me just because I'm so pretty. Focus. Gotta put this in here. That'll help. Now, I gotta clean this bolt up a little bit. Be right back. Should I treat the wind a little easier? I thought it might. Preparation makes all the difference. Like duck fat, it makes all the difference. I decided to let it down real quick, get this mount buttoned up before I put the other axle. It's a little harder to do in. I believe I used my 3/8 to get them out, so my 3/8 should put them back in just fine. And it's got to be held at just the right position. Little washer. Trying to see if I can do it without getting my extension back out. Let's see. A long ratchet. So close. That last little bit, man, it just doesn't want to go. I gotta go back to the extension. I think it can be done. If I had a 1-inch extension on my ratchet, I could probably do it without this. Just for those of you who don't have this kind of extension, I might be doing this repair. Only like a half a turn from tight. We got that super convenient hole set up for it. Works. I'm not going to fight it anymore. It works. I want to make sure I got that ball joint seated in there really good. Didn't seem like it was tight, but it just needed a little bit more. It's a little bit of dance to get in here and get around the brackets and stuff, but they go on after you tighten the studs down on the vacuum pump. In case I'm not sure if I made that really clear when I took it apart. But now, the ground and this little bracket, and I put both of my nuts on it. When you're just about done, you'll have these two left and you'll go, which one goes where? The wiring harness down there has a little plastic clip that goes on this one. And this one up here, you wouldn't want the stud sticking out because it's going to dig into this wiring harness, right? So this one gets the regular bolt. I might have to loosen that back up to get it under there. We'll see. Not going to hurt anything, it's just a ground cable. It's not a series of CAN bus wiring. Get this one in here. Having the battery disconnected for so long will clear the learn memory, but I still have to do for these Chryslers, you have to do what's called a quick learn with the scan tool. So I'm going to button these two bolts up, get the battery tray in and stuff. I filmed taking it apart, so we'll just get that all knocked out. I'll hop in there with a scan tool, and I'm going to have to add, I lost a quart or two of fluid moving the transmission around. They mostly fill it, and they also give you like 8 more quarts. So I'm guessing I'll need 4 to 6 of those probably. Anyway, we'll come back once I button this up. We'll be inside with the scanner. Alright, let's get in here. Get the scanner hooked up. Good thing for my skinny physique. Fit right in there. 90,629 miles for those interested. This van is in rough shape for 2019. It's basically a 2020 really. 9 of 19. But not our concern. Our concern is getting this thing to be happy and learn its pace. Thank you. If it don't dodge, fix it. Or should I say, if it dodges, fix it. These reman transmissions from LKQ, they get them from outside vendors, and you don't really know who rebuilt it, but they do give you a warranty of some kind, so that's good. We've only had problems with a couple of them. Most of them are pretty good. So we'll see how this one goes. I'm hoping for the best. I don't suspect there'll be a problem. I don't automatically assume there's going to be a problem. I assume it's going to work out awesome. I'm maybe too optimistic sometimes. The Honda evaporator job, by the way, I didn't forget about it. They changed from getting the Honda evaporator with all the parts on it to just getting the tubes. I really need to take it apart to see exactly what it needs, but we ordered some miscellaneous parts, and then we'll get it apart tomorrow, I guess, and see what's going on with it. It's going through some diags. I'm going to go into transmission control module, special functions, quick learn, and I'll show you that once we're done chit-chatting here. System selection, TCM, PCM, special function. Well, that's interesting. It's not showing me the quick learn and the PCM, and it's saying it doesn't communicate with the TCM. I do have it plugged in, and it's that big connector with a little flip lever. So we will find out shortly. Let's go into intelligent diagnosis. It's a different way to get in the same screen. This K8 Pro from King Bone has been a great scan tool, by the way. I wish I had a chance to do keys. There was another car that he wanted a couple of keys programmed, but they also needed to be cut. So we had a locksmith come to do that, so I didn't get to use the tool for that, but got the correct VIN. We'll see if we pick up a TCM this way. I don't suspect we will, though. Let's see if it goes into gear. My gears are working. Alright, the top Don was telling me I don't have the latest Chrysler software to try and update it, but it meant the scanner, and the scanner says my updates are expired. that I have to pay. So we're gonna make this K8 Pro work, and I don't think it was the scanner anyway. I think it was I was outside and the Wi-Fi is not strong enough. You can see my Wi-Fi. I got 2 lines now. The GoPro's blurry when you're 1.5 inches away though. Both scan tools give me to see the screen, how familiar it looks. It's the same screen as the top down. So I'm guessing King Bolin's using the same software. They're all basically launch for the most part, but with little tiny differences in colors or something like that, but basically the same functionality. Now, someone said in my comment section that King Bolin owns launch. Not really sure if that's true or not. It might be. You guys tell me. Once 3 or more people say it, then it's true. Let's see if I can find that quick learn page again, and we'll try it. All right, now in special functions, I have quick learn on this scan tool in the exact same fashion I had it in the top down. It's going to say engine must be running. Happy to accommodate. I'm going to close this off. Brake pedal pressed. Parking brake is set. Okay. Move shift lever to overdrive. Shift to neutral. Quick learn in progress. Now you feel the vehicle kind of do this and stutter a little bit and do some weird things. Nothing to panic about. Make sure you keep your foot on the brake. It is in gear. Start sequence signal. Move shift lever to overdrive. Quick learn in progress. Quick learn procedure complete. Move shift lever to park. Quick learn procedure complete. Now that's really important. So you don't do damage on a new transmission. You don't want it to use the memory and the files it saved for the old one in any way, shape, or form. You want to put it in basically a starting point, which is what the quick learn does. So what we're going to do is, sometimes there's also a torque converter reset too, but reset ECU, cancel. I'm not seeing anything with the torque converter. I would assume it would take care of that in the quick learn, but just in case. I knew it was a stretch. I wanted to try it. So now the next thing to do is to road test this thing. I'm going to take a look at the fluid one more time. Since it's settled out of that tube, I'll make sure I get an accurate reading on that. And we'll open a window so it doesn't try to lock me in, lock me out, lock me somewhere. Check that fluid. Fluid level's perfect. Don't touch that radiator hose, or you just flush off your forearm. Now I gotta wait for the very light traffic so I can pull this thing out, see how it's gonna work. It already moves a lot better when it's hot than it did before, we know that much. But I'm not gonna test a new transmission with semis coming and stuff. And we'll make sure we get a few miles on it. I prefer 6 to 8 miles when I do an engine or transmission, maybe 10 miles even. Depends on how much the traffic will let me do before we close. I gotta get back before they pull all the doors down. And this one should be good. I think they might have sold an induction service or something. We'll see if we get that done today or in the morning. But I looked up what they paid me for labor, and I noticed something about an induction service. They never mentioned it to me, but it's a good thing I looked. Anyway, let me go drive this, and then we'll see what else we can get done. It's driving good. I just got to go check my list and see if there's anything else I'm supposed to do. I don't know who was in that white Explorer. The white Explorer down there followed me the whole road test out of the parking lot, the whole way around, and followed me back in. Kind of strange. All right, let's go double check our work order list. I don't have any updated stuff. This is the original diagnostic and DVI. So I'm gonna look at that, and then we'll come back, see if we're gonna do some other stuff on it. Shh, be quiet. All right, you know the deal. Induction service, going in a manifold vacuum port. Throttle stop, keeping the speeds up a little bit. Around 1,500 to 2,000 RPMers. Stands for revolutions per minute. Could be a really problematic mechanic. Hasta banana, muchacho. And this thing will be done. It's shifted good. It's always a little weird when it's in quick learn and it's first learning. It's finding itself. it'll kind of shift like, and you'll watch the RPM kind of flare. But that's part of the process. I always advise a customer for about 100 miles or so, it might feel a little funny. Everything should be a-okay. Fluid level's good. I'm gonna finalize this induction service, probably call it a day after that. It's getting late. While it's cooking. Have I mentioned this is a long, drawn-out process? I topped off the washer fluids and the tires and stuff like that. I keep coming in here once in a while, checking my RPM, checking my temperature gauge. Everything looks good. This thing's gonna be done. After I get done, I'll take it for a quick punch down the road. Sometimes that fluid can puddle in the manifold, and if it happens to the customer and they experience a whoa and a big puff of smoke, they'll be like, ah! So I gotta make sure it happens to me instead of them. Other than that, it's done. We're gonna be closing up the shop soon. In any event, I appreciate you watching today. I hope you got something from today's video. Doing the best I can to provide decent content for you. Under the circumstances, I think the videos are coming out all right. Let me know what you think in the comments. Torque the like button before you head out. And most importantly, I hope I get to see you in another video, because you're awesome.